Good day, Doctor. We are members of Group 1. I am Aung San Shen, followed by Hannah Wong Yung Ling, Kong Min Yi, Wang Yunjin, and AKMAL FIQIH ARFIANSYA.
The first one is how Gamelan company can implement ABC costing method. In order to do that, Gamelan company should identify the cost driver and calculate the activity rate for each activity first. Then it can assign cost to both costs by multiplying the cost driver rate with the volume of cost driver unit consumed by each cost. Under this method, the total cost for 2-day cost is 149,960 ringgit, while for the 5-day cost is 351,648 ringgit. Under the traditional costing method, Gamelan company only use one cost driver, which is the number of days to assign cost. The cost driver is calculated directly by dividing the total cost, which is 501,600 ringgit with a total of 190 days. It will get the unit cost is 2,640 ringgit per day. Under this method, the total cost for 2-day cost is 105,600 ringgit, while for the 5-day cost is 396,000. If Gamelan company compare these two costing method, it will find out that under the traditional costing method, the total cost for 2-day cost is understated by 44,360 ringgit, while for the 5-day cost is overstated at 44,352 ringgit. When there's a different amount under ABC and traditional costing method, the amount of them from ABC costing method is considered more accurate because it traces cost to specific activities by using multiple cost driver, where traditional costing is typically relies on single cost driver, which may not accurately reflect the actual consumption of resources.
So now I'm going to give you the suggestion on pricing charge based on ABC method. So Gamelan company needs to mark up the perfect price in order to gain profit. The price needs to cover all costs in order to make profits. So before implementing the markup prices, Gamelan company needs to find the cost for each course. Below is the cost calculation for each course. For 2-day course, we have 149,960 ringgit divided by 1,000 participants, and we will get 149 ringgit and 96 cents per participant. For 5-day course, we have 351,648 ringgit divided by 900 participants, and we will get 390 ringgit and 72 cents per participants. Okay, so after we calculate the cost for each courses, now we need to calculate the markup price for each courses. So based on the average markup percentage, most companies set a 50% markup price for their products or services. In order to gain profit, Gemilang company also needs to set a 50% markup on each of their packages. Below is the calculation of markup price for each courses. For 2-day course, we have 149 ringgit and 96 cents times 1.5, and we will get 224 ringgit and 94 cents per participant. For 5-day course, we have 390 ringgit and 72 cents times 1.5, and we will get 586 ringgit and 8 cents per participant. So by implementing these prices, Gemilang company will be able to cover up their costs, also gain some profits. Okay, now I'll talk about the challenges in implementing activity-based costing method and solutions to overcome them. So the first one is identifying and categorizing activities. Accurately identifying and classifying every activity might be difficult because some may be hidden or indirect. So the solution is Gemilang company can use several methods to find activities such as interviewing or surveying workers who are engaged in various processes. It is possible to create cross-functional teams to map out and analyze the activities. Process flow charts and value stream mapping are two examples of tools that they might use to visually describe the relevant actions. This cooperative interval guarantees a more thorough comprehension of every action. And the second one is cost assignation to activities. When there are shared resources or activities that overlap, assigning charges to certain tasks can get complicated. So the solution is Gemilang company might use cost drivers or cost allocation keys to get beyond this challenge. The amount of resources used in an activity is determined by its cost drivers. Better cost allocation is possible by recognizing and quantifying these costs. The manner in which costs and activities are related should be taken into consideration when choosing cost drivers for the organization. And the last one is cost and resource implications. Activity-based costing implementation may need a large investment of time and money. So, Gemilang company should evaluate the viability of activity-based costing through a cost-benefit analysis prior to begin with the implementation. The costs and resource implications should be balanced against the possible benefits, which could include the enhanced decision-making and cost allocation precision. To guarantee that the required resources, including money and people, are assigned to the implementation project, careful planning and budgeting should be done.
Today, we are going to explore the fundamental concept of variable and fixed cost in business, and how understanding these can significantly impact our financial management strategies. And to start with, we are going to first talking about what are the fixed costs. Constantly, fixed costs remain constant regardless of production or sales volumes. They include expenses like rent, insurance, interest payment, the appreciation, and the property tax. And then we're going to talking about what are variable costs. Variable costs are expenses that change in proportion to the level of production sales. Examples include materials, labor, and overhead that vary with the level of output. The key characteristics of variable costs in their dependence on the level of activity in a business. As the production of the sale go up, variable costs rise, and as the production or sales decrease, variable costs decline. And below are some examples, like materials and supplies, direct labor, utilities, commission fees, shipping and handle, credit card, and transaction fees. And then I will put them into two categories, the fixed cost category and the variable cost category. And I will put the advertising expenses, rental of the audio equipment, venue, and the facilitator into the fixed cost category. And then the participant enrollment, food and beverage, participants' activities materials will into the variable cost category. In this slide, I will introduce the fixed cost in Gimilang. Advertising expenses. This expenditure is directly related to the numbers of courses offered by the Gimilang company, and due to the fact that advantages and advertising are typically fleeting, existing just as long as the company is running. And then is the rental of audio equipment, directly related to the numbers of days offered by Gimilang company, and the rental cost of audio equipment is not based on the number of the participants or several courses conducted. And it also associated with the numbers of the days Gimilang company wants to rent for the training. Therefore, the rental of the equipment is a fixed cost. And then we're going to talking about the venue. The venue is the cost of the venue is mostly associated with the time frame. Regardless the number of courses conducted during the time, the cost and the venue does not change. The second, the cost of the venue is not influenced by the number of participants. It is the cost incurred to provide space for the training courses. And the last one is the facilitators. In general, facilitators committed to stay throughout the whole session of the event. As a result, facilitators' work hours and tasks stay constant, and they are paid constantly for each day that they work. And then we're going to talking about the next part of the variable cost. The first one is participant enrollment. It exhibits the characteristic that vary in direct correlation with the volume of the participants and specific program activities. Participants motivated by individual needs to preference that decide to enroll based on the factors such as personal development goals and professional requirements and the personal interest. And the second one is the food and beverage. As a variable cost, this expense fluctuates directly in proportion to the level of the business activity, which in this context is determined by the number of the guests and attendees. And then we're going to talking about the last one of our variable cost, the participants' activity materials. Participants' activity materials are directly correlate with the activity level or the mental numbers of the participants. Due to its ability to ensure that all the participants receive the materials and to prevent the production and existing insufficient material.
The participant enrollment fee, we put it as other income in this 5-day course.
Before we draw the cost volume profit graph to present the break-even point, we must calculate the total fixed cost, which is 291,960, and the unit contribution margin, which is 524.76 ringgit Malaysia. And we must find the break-even point, which is 556 in units and 326,076.52 ringgit Malaysia. The break-even point is determined by the intersection of the total revenue line and the total expense line. The Gimilang company breaks even for the 5-day course at 556 tickets, or RM 326,076.52 of ticket sales. This agrees with our calculation in the preceding section. For the profit and loss area, the CVP graph discloses more information than the break-even calculation. From the graph, we can see the effect on profit of changes in volume. If Gimilang company sells fewer than 556 tickets, the organization will suffer a loss. The magnitude of the loss increases as ticket sales decline. Gimilang company have a profit if sales exceed 556 tickets.
Moving on, I will be presenting the impact of changes. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the impact of changes on variable costs. If participant enrollment costs are raised from 5 ringgit to 6 ringgit per person, Gimilang company's unit contribution margin will decrease from 524.76 to 518.76. The above computation is used to get both the old and new break-even points. Observe that 563 tickets are the new break-even point. Hence, greater unit variable costs lower the unit contribution margin, raising the break-even point and perhaps decreasing earnings at any given sales level. In contrast, at any given sales level, lower variable costs per unit increase the contribution margin, which lowers the break-even point and may even result in higher profits. Next, fixed costs. Assume Gimilang company is concerned that the 14,460 ringgit estimated cost for advertisement of courses is too low and should be raised to 21,759 ringgit by 7,299 ringgit. the fixed cost estimate has experienced a 2.5% increase, as 7,299 ringgit represents 2.5% of the overall fixed cost. Notice that there was an additional 2.5% increase in the break-even point, which is around 14 tickets, representing 2.5% of the 556 tickets. Due to extra revenue being required to cover the increased fixed expenses, higher fixed costs results in an increase in the break-even point. It could be more difficult to attain profitability. In contrast, a corporation can more easily achieve profitability when its fixed costs are reduced because the break-even point is lowered. When fixed expenses represent a significant portion of overall costs, the impact is obvious. Moving on, selling price. The unit contribution margin will fluctuate in line with changes to the unit sales price. Assume that the ticket cost increases to 588 ringgit 8 cent from 586 ringgit 8 cent. Due to this adjustment, the unit contribution margin will increase from 524 ringgit 76 cent to 526 ringgit 76 cent. 554 tickets will be the new break-even point. By raising the selling price by 2 ringgit, 556 tickets will become 554 tickets, which is the break-even point. If selling price decrease, a lower break-even point reduces the possibility of running at a loss. However, instead of charging 588 ringgit 8 cent for tickets, the company might be more likely to at least break even with 586 ringgit 8 cent. The reason is that more people are attracted to the business training course due to the reduced ticket price. A higher selling price thereby raises the contribution margin, leading to a lower break-even point and potentially higher profits at any given level of sales. On the other hand, a lower selling price raises the break-even point and could lead to lesser earnings because it lowers the contribution margin. Lastly, the impact of changes on volume. The CVP graph illustrates how variation in volume affect profit. The profit or loss for a specific sales volume is represented by the vertical distance between the lines on the graph. Gemilang Company will incur a loss if fewer than 556 tickets, which is the break-even point, are sold for the 5-day course. The loss grows in size when fewer tickets are sold. Sales of more than 556 tickets for the 5-day course will result in a profit for the company. Therefore, a higher sales volume helps to lower the break-even point and increase the possibility of profits by covering fixed costs over a wider revenue base. On the other hand, lower sales volume raises a break-even point, which makes it harder to pay fixed costs and may result in loss. That's all from me, and I'll pass it to the next presenter.
Comment on the viability of the 5-day courses. To comprehensively assess the viability of Gemilang Company's 5-day courses using cost volume profit knowledge, one must delve into the intricate balance between variable and fixed costs. The variable costs, which include expenses like food, beverage, enrollment fees, and cost materials, are directly tied to the number of participants. These costs are expected to be higher for 5-day courses due to the longer duration, necessitating more resources per participant. On the other hand, fixed costs such as facilitator fees, venue rental, and audio equipment rental remain constant regardless of the number of attendees. However, these fixed costs spread over the duration of the 5-day course might offer a low cost per day, enhancing cost efficiency. The key to the course's financial success lies in the delicate interplay between managing increased variable costs and maximizing revenue through participant enrollment. The course profitability will largely depend on attracting a sufficient number of participants to offset the higher variable costs incurred due over the extended course duration. This scenario necessitates not just effective cost management strategies, but also adapt marketing and pricing tactics to ensure a steady influx of participants. In essence, the economic feasibility of the 5-day courses will be determined by Gemilang Company's ability to balance higher costs against the potential for increased revenue, which hinge on participant number and effective pricing strategies. This approach underscores the importance of strategic planning in course design and delivering, ensuring that the courses are not only educationally enriching but also financially sustainable.